sir.
Oh, okay, now you have permission to start. You're late.
All right, good evening. We'll open the meeting at 6:03. Start with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's not an American flag.
Roll call, please.
It's an Admiralty flag.
Cullis.
Here.
Murphy.
Here.
McCanny.
Here.
Perkins.
Here.
Turpinning.
Here.
Cuxey. DeSessa.
Here. Okay, before we go to the agenda change, it's my understanding that Kari has resigned.
I know nothing about that.
Okay.
Well, if not, she's missed enough meetings that she would be
Well,
removed anyways.
I was told she had resigned, so, okay. Approval of the agenda. Chair would entertain a motion to approve.
There's one thing on page 2, second column, where it says Rory's Place is at 105 Battle Alley. It's-
No, excuse me, this is agenda approval.
Oh, I thought it was previous agenda approval.
No,
I also move the agenda approval.
Yeah.
A second.
Go ahead, Tim.
assess a second by Turpinning.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, approval of minutes. Mr. Murphy.
Page 2, second column, says 105 Battle Alley. It should be 105 South Saginaw.
Second page.
Second column, like third line down. Well, second and third line down.
Yeah, mine says 105 South Saginaw.
Mine does too.
105 Battle Alley.
He said second column.
Second column,
You're right.
105 South Battle Alley.
Got it.
Where? I see.
Top of the page, second column. Third line down.
Oh, it's tucked under the staple, kind of.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Okay, you're correct.
Page 1 says I arrived at 6:04. I actually think I arrived at 6:03 and 42 seconds. Let the record show. I was not that late.
Okay, so correction from Battle Alley to Saginaw Street. So I would make a motion to approve the minutes as amended. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Murphy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, statement of purpose. The mission of the Holly Historic District Commission is to safeguard the heritage of the village of Holly by preserving the historic district in the village that reflects the elements of the village's history, architecture, archaeology, engineering, and culture. The goal of the commission's work is to stabilize and improve the property values in the historic districts and the surrounding areas, foster civic beauty, strengthen the local economy, and promote the use of the historic districts for the education, pleasure, and welfare of the citizens of Holly. Public comment. Mr. John, it's on you.
I wanted to talk, John Love. I own the house on Sherman 306. And I'm just kind of dumbfounded in the attitude of the village in this historic effort to preserve the properties. The Sherman house, village was going to tear it down. I had to go to court and fight them on that one. This is a piece of the baseboard. Give you an idea of the treasures that are in the house. Anybody can stop by when I'm there, and you can take a look at the interior of the house. The mill, they were going to tear that down. I had to go to court on that one. No problem. I've rehabbed 2 stores on Main Street that are being between the Blackthorn and the Alvia that were in disarray. The roof had leaked for years, and nobody was doing anything about it. I made an arrangement to buy it and fix it up, but the village was right there. We got to do this. Perfect. Well, we got another problem here. We got the hotel. And I understand the problem, one of the problems is that the village manager's son-in-law owns the place next door. I found out that they had improperly torn down the brick wall that was next to the hotel. Those bricks were real bricks, not fake bricks like we have today. It takes two hands to hold one brick. What are we doing on that one? That's what I'm concerned about. It's been vacant, untouched. It's a landmark building in a historic district that was a functioning contributor to the village. And it's somehow, I don't know, it seems that this relationship has clouded the whole process. The village isn't there on top of getting it fixed and getting it built up. So that's why I'm coming here to talk to you people to see if you can at least pass some notification or something to do something about it instead of just, well, I guess that's the way it is. We're just, just bystanders watching the show. Also, another thing that happened is I'm kind of into trees. I turned in a tree that's on Sherman Street by the railroad tracks, and it was the oldest tree in Michigan in this survey. It was over 300 years old. So anyway, I like trees. As a matter of fact, global warming is affected. A tree converts CO2 more than having an electric car into oxygen. But what happened? Oh, the DDA said, let's cut down all the trees on Main Street. 40-year-old trees. And what did they give us for replacements? Ones that are just little wimpy trees. There's no shading effect, no cooling effect, and they look like a shopping mall. And it's alternating trees. They had two different kinds of trees. So if one dies, the other one will be a different tree. That was the logic they were using in this thing. So that's the kind of tackiness that's taking place with the idea that we're going to fix things up. Instead of fixing up things that make the place tacky. Waste paper barrels, half of those nice waste barrels in town are missing, but there's no problem. The drinking fountain, it has paint peeling off it, looks tacky. And there's a street sign next to it that's leaning, bent. And then Christmas tree lights, you're supposed to take them down after Christmas, not leave them out all year. And we got new banners. We're no longer home of the Broncos. We've got ads on them to make sure that they still continue the tacky town theme. And they made them with a green background. And then what they did for decoration, they put green holly leaves on it. You can't even see the green holly leaves on a green background. So we're maintaining this tacky town theme continually. So I decided I'd come down here and talk to people that are of interest in historic preservation to see if they can bring some focus onto this. And as I said, you're invited anytime you see me over at Sherman to come in and see what it was. The story on that house, it was built in 1897. And the bay window in the front has leaded glass beveled pieces. Not a piece is chipped or broken in the whole window. And this is one of the oak panels. These are the baseboards. The doors and other trim are just unbelievable. When I got the house, There was no stairs in the house to go upstairs. People had stripped it to the studs, and all the columns and decorations had been put on the front porch. And they had peeled the roof off, and then they left because they had acquired another house by inheritance. So they just left the house in that kind of condition. So it was quite a project to fix, because it's, for one thing, I'm an aerospace engineering degree graduate from the University of Michigan. So I don't do Mickey Mouse stuff. Every one of these places is 50 times better than it was when I walked in the door. And I have one other house too, but anyway, I'm preparing this to sell it. So that's why I brought this down, to at least show you one piece of what was in the house. And it's a great treasure for the community. Also, the tree that's in front of the house is over 150 years old too, and I've been taking care of it to make sure that it's flourishes and has the roots go into the front yard, and it is in nice shape. Take a look at it. It's a beautiful condition. Bark.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's my public comment.
Okay.
I'd like to hear your public comments.
Anyone else? No, sir? All right. So we'll move on to old business, the HDC guidelines. First of all, we just approved the meeting minutes from December, so that means we haven't met January, February, March, April for 4 months. So I do have some questions. On the HDC guidelines, we were supposed to have sent those to somebody at SHPA, and I'm wondering if that ever got done.
I don't believe so.
No? Mr. McCanny, you still have those available in, not in paper form, but in a PDF?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. So we need to work on getting that done. And then,
Where would we send them to?
the director changed, they have to go to the SHPA office for approval. And then once we have that approval, we can send them on to the village council for approval and adoption.
So Ellen or Mallory are not there
No.
anymore?
Ellen Thackeray? Yeah, no, there's a new person now.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So I have that information, I'll have to get it to you. Also, I knew that Mr. Watson was going to be here tonight, and I asked him, we had asked at our last meeting, we had 3 addresses that we asked about in the village. One of them was Ziggy's regarding the half-oval picture window that's in Battle Alley. When they did the remodel, they weren't supposed to cover that up, but they did. It is still covered up, so we wondered what's happening with that.
Okay.
The second one was the building on the southeast corner. Used to be owned by Jim Hilty. The frame shop is in that building.
Southwest. Right.
Southeast.
There's no PA system here?
Yeah, it's right here.
Talking to these people over here,
Oh,
Yeah, we need to
okay.
get some acoustic paneling in this room. It's crazy.
Yep, okay, so the, yeah, it's on the southeast corner. It's the building that houses the frame shop.
It's Roland's building, yeah.
Who's the owner?
Roland.
Roland. Yeah, that was the window, we had asked about the windows that have been replaced in that. Some more recently than others, but there's been several, and that's never come before the HDC. In fact, the sad part is now, they don't even match on the front.
Yep, I remember this, all of
Okay,
this. You want me
that
to-
was the second one.
Okay.
There was a third one.
Those are the only 2 I remember.
RGL window framing is all aluminum. It's supposed to be kept wooden.
No, you got, you got the wrong name.
Okay.
Um,
What is it? Or what?
It's Randy
It's
Redmond's.
RHL.
RHL.
Awesome.
Okay, I knew, I knew you were close.
I didn't engrave it on a watch, so at least I got it,
It's okay.
I got a chance to correct it.
It just took me a minute to come up with a new one. Yeah, they had approval on there, but it doesn't appear that the one window was replaced with the proper material.
Okay.
So those are the three there.
Any question, George?
I said, Bill, you look like you had a question.
I did, thank you. You said the front of the building, which is true, the frame shop, but is it not true that some of the windows on the side as well, on the battle alley side there?
No, you're correct. I said they replaced windows at different times,
Yeah.
but then I pointed out it's the ones on the front that don't even match.
Right, but I'm just pointing out, maybe I'm
Yep.
misunderstanding, the side, they're not matching either, is my understanding, they're not all matching on the side either.
None of that came between us, or came
Right.
to us.
Right.
They're odd windows. But my concern was there's three on the front, and you would think if you were gonna replace three, you'd at least be uniform enough to have the three match, and they don't. And I think it's been, you know, the village offices are open Monday through Thursday. And I'm amazed at how many companies show up to do remodeling Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When, you know, when the cat's away type thing.
Right.
Wasn't one of our questions on his building too, the arches on the battle alley side? Because he replaced those.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's happened on the front, if I remember. They didn't replace the arch, they filled it
They
in.
filled it in with plywood or something.
They put square windows in and then just filled the top piece. So anyway, those were questioned, wondering when they if and when they pulled a permit, it never came here.
Okay.
So those
I'll
were,
pull them, I remember the meeting, and I'll get the minutes out from that meeting, and then I'll talk to Jeremy when he gets back, and then research if they pulled any permits and what the story is behind that.
okay. Next, we go to general business, which would be new business, I guess, election of officers. My only concern there is we're short one person. Doesn't mean we can't move forward, but I was wondering if, I know that I heard Kari was stepping down.
I did hear that, but it was seriously just overheard someone say maybe, but nothing
I
official
didn't
has been
overhear-
done.
I didn't overhear. It was a conversation I had with Jerry Walker.
Okay,
So,
yeah, I don't know if,
so they haven't reappointed anybody then?
no.
Okay. So, well, for
There are
tonight,
quite a
there's,
few new appointments coming on Tuesday.
Oh.
I haven't read through my whole packet yet, but
oh, maybe the resignation and the new appointment is in there. That could be, okay. All right, well, then for election of officers, there's the chair, the co-chair. We don't have a secretary, do we?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have the chief bottle washer and the junior bottle washer position available, or?
So the next question is, do we have a treasurer? Nobody's raising their hand?
No.
Okay.
It's my understanding we didn't have one, we had a
I didn't-
secretary.
We
I didn't think
know
so.
if we had one.
No. We
Okay,
don't
so-
have any money to,
Well, no, I did.
I'm just saying, we don't.
As secretary through the course of the year, do you do anything?
Uh,
Well, no, I'm asking.
No.
For all I know, maybe they call you
But
and you have,
if
do you have
Chris
to
calls
sign?
me, then I,
But I'm saying, when we approve the minutes, does he sign them as a final?
Not at this time.
No?
No.
I should be.
I'm not
We
trying
can
to
start.
diminish, I'm just trying to say we have these chairs, but nothing happens.
Sure.
Right.
The treasurer would be a good position if it's all zeros. It's easy.
Balances every month.
Balance every month.
Okay,
Balanced budget.
so, we'll do one position at a time, and we'll start with the chair, nominations for chair. And you can nominate yourself, so if you're so motivated.
Nominate George Collis.
I second.
Second, yeah.
Okay, who nominated George?
It was Mr. McCanny, and then I heard seconds from both
Yeah, it
directions.
doesn't
Mr.
I
Turpinning
think
and
Turpinning
Mr.
got it
Murphy.
first.
Okay, thank you.
Any other nominations?
Is anybody's appointment up this year? Other than me,
Mine is.
just us?
That would be a question for Chris.
I'll have to check and see.
I got the email. from
Actually, I know that
I can
somewhere
bring a
mine was
list.
because I was called and asked if I would stay.
Yeah, I think mine was too.
Okay.
I was asked if I was.
So you've already been re-upped?
Well, we said yes, but maybe that's what's on your paper.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe that's in your paper.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
I didn't know who was up,
Good question. Yeah.
because
Can-
if the election goes the way, I won't be here. I'll be going over to a different board.
Oh,
Unauthorized. I don't authorize that.
say that again.
If the election goes as planned, I won't be on HDC anymore. I'll be on DDA.
Okay. Why does the election change the appointment? Just because you've requested to change?
No, if you're village president, you're on the DDA.
Oh, you're running for village, that's the part you didn't tell us, I didn't know that.
Wow. Is it programmed in that you're gonna win
Okay.
already?
No, he said depending on how the election goes.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think he said
If it goes as planned. That's like I was saying.
I think if you're running for an office, a positive attitude is a good thing.
Yes.
Right.
No, very well done.
Okay. So I didn't understand for our next meeting, if you would, provide us with a sheet that shows
Yes.
that
Yeah, where the
information.
I sure
appointments
will.
are at.
That would help. That would
Okay.
help. All right. And any other nominations? Okay. None appearing. The nomination for myself for the chair, seconded by Mr. Turpinning and Murphy. Do I have to do a roll call, or can I just do all in favor?
Doesn't concern money, you can do you don't have to do roll call.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now for the co-chair. Nominations for co-chair?
Mike
It's currently-
McKinney.
I say it's currently Mike.
I would like to negotiate a 35.75% raise. So 0 times,
I think that's what my new tax
or at
rate
least
is
a
gonna be.
at least a parking space.
I nominate Mike
You
McKinney.
know what? We'll do it when I get around
Oh,
to it.
there you go. All
There's a
right.
quarter, Councilman, who cares?
No, it's around to it.
It's around to it, yeah. It's-
Nice. Nice.
We'll get it, do it when we get around
I
to it.
love it.
Okay, so motion by Murphy, support by, was that Turpinning?
I made the motion.
Oh, you made the motion.
Oh, then I seconded it. Whatever. We probably both said it at the same time.
You guys went so fast, I remember what voices I heard, just
I
not
think they're
you.
trying to move really fast so they stun us, and then we can't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Any other nominations? Okay. Motion by Turpinning, second by
Murphy.
Murphy for Mr. McCanny to stay as co-chair. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now we move on to the secretary.
I would move for Mr. Turpinning to serve again as secretary, if you will accept.
Second.
I'll second that, yeah.
Mr. DeSessa, seconded by Murphy and the future president. Perkins.
We could hope.
Okay, so any other nominations? All in favor of Mr. Turpinning as secretary?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We've got that taken care of. You on board with that, Chris?
I am.
Okay. Now, number 2 calls for the annual report. Is that something you have to share with us?
I wish I did. Jeremy, I think Jeremy thought you already had a copy of it. But, he said it's already gone to council and been submitted to council. That's what he told me to convey to you.
Okay, so we'll push that to old business
Yes,
and we'll get the annual report.
yes.
Okay. That's kind of backwards, but I would think it would be approved by us to be sent to them.
Yeah.
But, okay. We don't have it, not much we can go do about it. Commission and staff comments. I'll start with Mr. Secretary, Mr. Turpin. Any comments?
No comment. What, do we get our allowance for gas allowance or
I think we got a
last
raise.
5 months?
0 times
0?
8, 39%.
Just a comment. It's closer for all of us, I think.
So I will say, regarding the cancellation of meetings, Jeremy calls me or Chris calls me, and if nobody's applied for a permit,
There's no reason.
well, then the question is, do we still want to have a meeting? And in some of these cases, Jeremy has been busy becoming the chief in his class. He said, I'm not going to be able to be there, you need to have the meeting, so we've said no. I had a conversation with Jerry Walker just in the last week or so, which is where the Kari Cuxy thing came up, and he recommended that we at least have a meeting every other month, even if there's not somebody on the agenda. I have reached out to Ron Campbell for some future training issues, but if nothing else, for us to get together and go over something. So if anybody has anything they want to specifically talk about or look about or wants to share with the board, keep that in mind, because we will be going to at least every other month,
Okay.
even if we don't
Good.
have a permit. Or, a request
Well,
for a
then,
permit.
my other part, when is the court thing on the Holly Hotel? Is that still,
I know that they're currently going through derogatories.
okay,
I thought I heard August or something, but.
August.
The hearing, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's scheduled for that. And seeing as you brought that up and it was part of our public comment, just for clarity, and because I know the meeting's being recorded, the Historic District Commission itself has very specific things that we're in charge of. And that's based on the Secretary of the Interior guidelines. And that has to do with work being done on homes or businesses in the historic district. We don't have the power to step in and intervene on stuff like that. In the case of the Holly Hotel, they've already been before the District Commission and had the materials approved for the building going forward. I will say this, there are two sides to every story, and in this particular case, this story has found itself in court, and that's why we have a court system. And, both sides of the story will be heard, and the court will make a decision moving forward.
If I can add, George, this committee, when it came here, we made a point to say, look, we approved it, but contingent on the court case. on the
Correct.
Resolution of that.
Yes.
Yep. So, okay. Anything else, Mr. Turpin?
no, that's it, thank you.
Mr. McCaney?
Just real quick about the guidelines. Do we want to review these, or do we want to send them on? I mean,
No, we had reviewed them through a couple of meetings, and we chose what we wanted to cover. We chose the wording where there was question. I don't think we need to
so we think it's
rehash
solid,
that.
we still think it's
I
solid?
just think it needs to
Okay.
I
get
think it's
itself
solid too.
to ship it,
Okay,
and if it hasn't been sent, then we need to get that. And Chris, I'll work with you on getting that to you, and at the same time, I have the name of the new SHPA person in my office, and I'll get that information to you as well.
Okay.
okay, well, that's my only if we wanted to go through it again, but we can,
That's up to,
are we able
is
to
everybody
move?
else comfortable with
Well, I
what?
was gonna put the question back on Mr. McKinney, because he's the one who generously did a lot of that report. Do you think it needs more work now? I do remember that we were sort of on a rush to get it done, I thought, but I thought it looked good when it was done too.
Well, and we had it done. What we didn't know was that before the village council, and you and I found that out at the conference, what we didn't know is we couldn't just pass it to the council and have it approved without the approval of SHPA first. That's why we came back to the meeting and said this needs to go to SHPA. I just don't know if it ever got there. So that's what we'll,
I think you ran into the thing where the context changed.
yeah. Well, and I say, did it ever get there? The reason I asked that is because when I just talked to the new SHPA person, he didn't know what I was talking about. So we may need to find out where it got lost in the channel and put it through again.
We should contemplate, oh, never mind.
Well, that leaves everybody contemplating.
We should probably require everybody on the council to grow a handlebar mustache. I think it would be really a good move.
I don't think
I
my
don't know.
wife would like that.
I'm trying to picture April Brandon with a handlebar mustache. If anybody would do it, she would. So, okay.
There. The only other
I
thing
have-
I need to make comment on is there's a vintage baseball game on Saturday here in the park. There'll be a total of 3 games being played, and I will be umpiring one of the games.
Do we know who the teams are? There's Mr. Schlag, there's the team that is kind of our home team.
I do not know the names of the teams.
You don't know who's visiting.
There was supposed to be a tournament going on, 2 teams playing against each other, and then winners playing against each other, but one team had to back out.
Ah.
So it shuffled everything. I don't know exactly who's playing.
Okay. Is that completed for you?
That's it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My comment would actually be a question. What recourse and/or authority do we have on buildings and/or businesses that go ahead and do work that has not been approved?
So that falls on the village to enforce that, much like you do your ordinances, code enforcement.
Okay.
We had a case,
Now, do we have to bring that to the village?
well, somebody has to bring it to the attention, and this commission has on these addresses.
Right.
Let me give you an example. Back years ago, on Battle Alley, not Ziggy's, but the next building over, I think it's the Tinsman is in there now. The owner of that building showed up on the weekend, took all the windows off the front, and gave it a whole facelift. And I think back at that time, Nancy Rebar was the chair, and people had noticed it. They had to go and pull the permits. They had to come back through us. If I'm not mistaken, Jeff Wren was the
He was.
code enforcement at the time. They made him actually take part of the front off to show us what it was. And then he had to change material on some of it. The unfortunate part was we lost the windows that had the small, but they'd been destroyed. We talked about it at that time, that there should be some kind of penalty.
Absolutely.
That was passed to the village council, but I don't know whatever happened to that. The conversation about the penalty wasn't just for historic district, but it was for these companies that come in. We had a case, it was actually my next door neighbor. He had signed a contract with a commercial roofer. The roofer in that contract charged him for the permit, came out to the house, never applied for a permit. Well, they get to walk and keep that money. The reason you want the permit is
To cover
because
your butt.
it protects us
That's
to make
right.
sure that they're doing it the right way
That's
they're
right.
supposed to. We just had a case where we re-roofed the barn at the farmstead, the red barn. That roof was put on before I came into office, probably 20 years ago. And when we went to re-roof it, they found out that there was no underlayment.
Yeah, there was no tar paper or flat.
There was nothing under
Yeah.
there. And a permit with a building inspector would have caught that.
Because when I did the roof across the street from you, I pulled a permit, and Don,
Winston's?
who was that nutbag that used to live,
Oh, he's gone, gotcha.
that nutbag's house? Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
Vince Simon.
yep. Vince. So the conversation, just to get back to what we're talking about, was there should be a penalty, not only for the historic district, but for anybody that tries to do this work. If it's a homeowner doing his own house, that's
That's
one
different.
thing, because they can claim that they didn't know. But if we've got a commercial company that has literally signed a contract, charging you for a building permit, and then goes out there and does the project without it, there should be a penalty for that, because they know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Well, that's just it, and I think we should take it a step further. I mean, we know, I mean, how many times have these companies claim they don't know? You can claim it once, really, technically, right, and then that's
If
it.
you put it in the contract,
You got it.
your responsibility was, you put it in there,
Sure,
and
sure.
they paid you, that's a whole different story.
That's a problem.
And when they re-roofed my house, the 5 roofs, I called that morning to see if we had a permit, and we didn't, and I went out to the guy and I said, don't start on the roof because you haven't pulled the permit. In fact, I called Jerry to find that out, and he told me later that he went to Jeremy Watson and asked if we had a permit, and he said no. And he said, George called and wanted to know if they pulled the permit, and Jeremy said, he called on himself? And I said, sure I did, because I paid for it in the contract.
Right.
And I want to make sure it was pulled, and they ended up, that project in my house stalled by 2 hours. The company had to hustle and shuffle. They apparently didn't realize.
But I mean, to my point about the repeat, I mean, if nothing else, you would think that these repeat offenders, we should really be going after them, if anybody.
Yeah. No, you're right, but that's beyond our level. That would be something that Jim could look into when it's, as counsel, and say, hey, whatever happened here?
Yeah, that's why
Find
I
out.
was wondering.
Find out.
Well,
if
they'd
it's
just have to
changed.
come up with a fine, send them a bill. If they don't pay, put a mechanic's lien on the corporation.
Well, and we discussed, we also
UCC
discussed
1.
what he just
Fill it
said.
out, put it on.
We also discussed what he said. Not necessarily a penalty on a homeowner,
Right.
and if there's a fine assessed, it goes to the company, not to the homeowner.
Yeah.
And especially in the time where you have a contract where it's right in the contract, the permit fee. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's, but like I said, it always seems like they show up on Fridays.
Right.
That house across from me, they pulled all those windows, if you remember that.
I do.
I actually got up in the morning and went to work and saw them pulling windows. Called over there. That was a commercial company that nobody knew anything about. They didn't pull any permits for that.
No, that was my comment / question.
Okay. Mr. DeSessa?
Took some trainings through the township, zoning board of appeals. Just want to tell you, it was 5.5 hours at the Oakland County Courthouse, executive office down there, Old Brooks Patterson place. But that was nice. I mean, they kept it informative. It was a presentation by Wade Trim. And so I enjoyed that. I mean, they actually did touch on some historic district stuff. I don't know if that training's a bit more widely available to folks, but if it is, you guys may want to avail yourself to it. 'Cause I do.
Those county trainings are available both to township and the village. I don't know who at the village gets those emails.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's Jerry Walker, but those are available. On a township level, I've been real positive. I've changed the budget so that the planning commission, so everybody has money to pay for the tuition, to pay for the lodging and so forth. On that, it's been built
it
in.
was really nice. Even had a little box dinner for everybody there, so it was nice. By the way, Caitlin Habeen, I may be mispronouncing her name, but she was with Roe and did some of the training here at the village, and it was contacting with us for stuff. She's with Wade Trim now, so she was one of the presenters. That's how I know. So there's that, and then secondly, just to make the point that the planning commission, our last meeting, talked about finally getting done this whole continuous improvement plan, which is required if you're going to have prioritized things for a master plan. You're supposed to, by law, have a CIP. And the council has been involved in that. Jerry has seen a way to his credit, to say, look, yeah, planning commission, let's get you involved. And then it would go to you guys to still approve it, but we would be involved in that process. The point being that during that meeting, just so you guys know, I mean, I think, I used it as an opportunity to say, I think we should pull up more of what this body does, the Historic District Commission, instead of having it on a back burner. I know there's been time, it's not like my idea, but more talk about more signage in the community, not just at the individual residents perhaps, but even just the downtown area perhaps, or whatever. More historic signage, I think, would be cool, and to look into that. And so that stuff, those ideas I did submit, hopefully they're going to be part of the minutes, but I just think that we can, hopefully at some point over time, play a larger role than we are in the community.
Okay. One day during the week when you're available, let me know,
Okay?
and you and I'll do a little drive around,
Okay.
and we'll talk about that.
All right.
Mr. Murphy?
I got nothing.
Okay. One of the things Jeremy, got too many names. Jeremy asked me was, if everybody had gotten their resume turned in, did you?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay.
That was like last year, wasn't it?
Bill?
Yeah.
I did at the same, at that time.
I think it has to do with the DDA and something they're trying to accomplish. Did you?
I
get
sent
one?
him one.
You got one, Mr. McCanny?
Yes, I handed it to
Mr.
Jeremy
Turpin.
personally.
Just gave one to Chris Snow.
Pardon?
I just gave one tonight to Chris, so I,
Okay, so everybody at this level is in,
Okay,
and then we'll have to find out the new person.
okay, good.
If you go home and look at your packet and you see
I'll
there's
call
a
you.
new one, let me know. Okay. All right, then I think that is everything for us tonight. It is 6:43, and that will complete the meeting, adjournment. So I'm glad you called, Murphy. I hadn't forgot about